Imagine this every day. You wake up with a finite amount of energy, a reservoir of potential waiting to be directed. But there's something lurking in the background, quietly siphoning it away. It disguises itself as comfort, convinces you to stay still when you should move, to pause when you need to act. That force is laziness, a thief in the shadows, stealing the life you're meant to live. But here's the truth: laziness is not who you are, it's a pattern. It's a habit that's been wired into your brain, reinforced by repetition and masked as rest. Laziness is often misunderstood. People label themselves as lazy and accept it as an unchangeable part of who they are. But the truth is that laziness is not a fixed trait. It is a learned behavior shaped by patterns, experiences, and the environment you immerse yourself in. From a neurological perspective, your brain is designed to conserve energy, seeking the easiest path to reward and comfort. This natural inclination, if left unchecked, can evolve into habitual inaction. However, the very nature of a learned behavior means it can be unlearned. With awareness, intention, and consistent effort, you can break free from this cycle and rewire your brain to embrace productivity and purpose. When you think about the moments when laziness takes over, it's often accompanied by a feeling of being overwhelmed or disconnected. You might feel unsure of where to start, and that uncertainty creates a feedback loop that reinforces inaction. Your mind rationalizes this by telling you that rest or avoidance is a temporary solution. But the reality is that the longer you stay in that state, the harder it becomes to break free. The brain starts to associate inactivity with relief, and this association strengthens over time. But once you recognize that this is a pattern, not a permanent aspect of your identity, you take the first step toward change. Reprogramming laziness begins with awareness. You must learn to identify the triggers that lead you to choose comfort over action. These triggers can be external, such as distractions in your environment, or internal, like fear of failure or self-doubt. By becoming aware of these triggers, you create a space between stimulus and response, a moment where you can consciously decide to act differently. This space is where transformation begins. It's not about forcing yourself to work harder or shaming yourself for being inactive. It's about making small, intentional choices that align with the version of yourself you want to become. Another critical aspect of overcoming laziness is understanding the role of habits. Laziness thrives in an environment where unproductive habits dominate. For instance, reaching for your phone the moment you feel discomfort, or endlessly scrolling through social media as a way to avoid tasks, are habits that reinforce laziness. These habits are not random, they are behaviors your brain has wired into autopilot because they provide immediate gratification. To unlearn laziness, you must replace these habits with new ones that serve your goals. This process takes time and consistency, but with every deliberate action you take, you are rewiring your brain to seek fulfillment and progress rather than avoidance. Physical movement plays a significant role in breaking the cycle of laziness. When your body is inactive, your energy levels drop, and this feeds into the narrative that you don't have the motivation to take action. But the truth is that energy is not something you passively receive. It's something you generate. Even small actions like standing up, stretching, or going for a short walk can shift your state of mind and create the momentum you need to tackle larger tasks. Movement stimulates the release of endorphins, which enhance your mood and increase your capacity to focus. This is a powerful reminder that taking the first step, no matter how small, is often the hardest but most crucial part of overcoming laziness. Another important component is setting clear and achievable goals. Vague intentions like "I need to be more productive" are unlikely to inspire action because they lack direction and purpose. Your brain craves clarity and structure. When you break down your goals into specific, actionable steps, you eliminate the uncertainty that often leads to procrastination. Each small victory reinforces a sense of accomplishment, creating a positive feedback loop that motivates you to keep going. Over time, these small wins accumulate into significant progress, proving to yourself that you are capable of breaking free from the constraints of laziness. The environment you create also plays a crucial role in shaping your behavior. If your surroundings are cluttered, distracting, or filled with reminders of comfort, it becomes easier to fall into patterns of inaction. Designing an environment that supports productivity and focus is a powerful way to unlearn laziness. This might mean organizing your workspace, limiting distractions, or surrounding yourself with reminders of your goals and aspirations. When your environment aligns with your intentions, it becomes a source of support rather than a barrier. It's also essential to address the underlying beliefs that contribute to laziness. Many people struggle with the idea that their effort won't make a difference or that their goals are too far out of reach. These limiting beliefs create a sense of hopelessness that feeds into inaction. Challenging these beliefs requires you to reflect on past successes, no matter how small, and to remind yourself of your potential. Every time you push through resistance and take action, you are proving to yourself that change is possible. This shift in mindset is a powerful tool in the process of reprogramming laziness. Overcoming laziness is not about perfection or working endlessly without rest. It's about finding a balance that allows you to grow, achieve, and recharge effectively. Rest is essential, but it should be intentional and aligned with your goals, not an escape from responsibility. By learning to distinguish between restorative rest and avoidance, you can ensure that your downtime fuels your growth rather than hindering it. This approach helps you build a sustainable rhythm of effort and renewal, laying the foundation for long-term success. Your brain is an extraordinary organ designed to conserve energy and ensure survival. To do this, it often chooses the path of least resistance, a mechanism rooted in efficiency. When faced with a decision, your mind gravitates toward what feels easy or familiar, even when it conflicts with what you truly want or need. This inclination, while beneficial in some situations, becomes a barrier when striving to overcome laziness. Laziness thrives on this tendency, convincing you to prioritize comfort and immediate gratification over growth and long-term fulfillment. To disrupt this cycle, you must understand how your brain creates and reinforces habits. Habits are automatic behaviors formed through repetition. Every time you choose comfort over action, you reinforce a neural pathway in your brain. Over time, these pathways become like well-worn trails, making it easier to repeat the same behavior. This is why laziness can feel like an unbreakable pattern. However, the same process that creates habits can be used to change them. By consistently choosing new actions, you can carve out new neural pathways and replace old unproductive habits with empowering ones. The key to breaking this cycle is to start small. The brain resists drastic changes because they feel overwhelming and uncertain. Instead of attempting to overhaul your entire routine at once, focus on one small change that aligns with your goals. For instance, if you find it difficult to get started on a task, commit to working on it for just 5 minutes. This small commitment reduces the psychological resistance to starting, and once you begin, you often find it easier to keep going. This phenomenon, known as the progress principle, highlights the importance of momentum. By taking that first step, no matter how small, you create a sense of progress that fuels further action. Another effective strategy is to remove as many barriers to action as possible. Your brain is wired to avoid friction, so even minor obstacles can deter you from starting. If preparing for a workout feels like a chore, lay out your clothes and gear the night before. If you struggle to focus on work, organize your workspace to minimize distractions. These simple adjustments make the path to action smoother, more and more inviting, helping you overcome the initial inertia that often accompanies laziness. It's also important to recognize the power of positive reinforcement in rewiring your brain. Your brain craves rewards, and when you associate productive behavior with a sense of accomplishment or satisfaction, it becomes easier to repeat that behavior. This doesn't mean you need to rely solely on external rewards. Internal rewards, such as the pride of completing a task or the relief of having it behind you, can be just as powerful. Celebrating small wins along the way reinforces your efforts and strengthens the new habits you're building. One of the most significant challenges in disrupting the cycle of laziness is overcoming the mental narratives that keep you stuck. Your mind might tell you that the task is too hard, that you don't have enough time, or that you're not capable. These thoughts are not truths, they are stories your brain creates to justify inaction. Learning to question and challenge these narratives is a crucial part of breaking free. When you catch yourself thinking, "I can't do this," counter it with evidence from past successes or remind yourself that the hardest part is just getting started. By reframing these thoughts, you shift your mindset from defeat to possibility. Another powerful technique is visualization. The brain doesn't always distinguish between imagined and real experiences, which means that visualizing yourself taking action can help prime your mind for success. Spend a few moments each day picturing yourself overcoming obstacles, completing tasks, and feeling the sense of accomplishment that comes with progress. This mental rehearsal not only increases your motivation, but also strengthens the neural pathways associated with those actions, making it easier to execute them in real life. It- the role of identity in overcoming laziness cannot be overstated. If you see yourself as someone who procrastinates or avoids challenges, that identity will shape your behavior. To change your habits, you must change how you see yourself. Start by affirming the new identity: I am someone who takes action, or I am committed to my growth. Each time you act in alignment with this new identity, you reinforce it, creating a self-fulfilling cycle of productivity and confidence. Lastly, it's essential to cultivate patience and self-compassion throughout this process. Breaking free from laziness and rewiring your brain takes time. There will be days when you fall back into old patterns, but these moments don't define you. What matters is your commitment to getting back on track and continuing to make progress, no matter how small. Change happens in increments, and every effort you make brings you closer to the version of yourself that you aspire to be. The common misconception about energy is that it is something you either have or don't have, as though it's a fixed reserve that depletes and refills based on external circumstances. But this belief leads many people to wait for a surge of energy or motivation before taking action. But the reality is quite the opposite. Energy is not passively received, it is actively generated. It's a dynamic force that comes to life when you decide to move, engage, and participate in your own progress. When you understand that action fuels motivation rather than the other way around, you unlock the secret to overcoming stagnation and creating momentum in your life. Energy and effort are deeply interconnected. The more you invest yourself in an action, the more energized you become. Think about the times when you felt completely unmotivated to start something, yet once you began, you found yourself gaining focus, drive, and enthusiasm as you progressed. This isn't a coincidence. When you engage in physical or mental activity, your body releases chemicals like endorphins and dopamine, which enhance your mood and sharpen your focus. This biological response reinforces the idea that taking even the smallest step forward can ignite the energy you thought you lacked. One of the greatest barriers to action is the false belief that you need to feel ready or inspired before you begin. This belief traps you in a cycle of inaction, waiting for a perfect moment that never comes. In truth, readiness is a byproduct of action, not a prerequisite. The act of starting creates the mental and emotional momentum that carries you forward. The simple decision to do something, no matter how small, sends a message to your brain that you are capable and in control. This sense of agency amplifies your energy and builds confidence, making it easier to keep going. Generating energy through action doesn't require monumental effort. It thrives on consistency and commitment. Small intentional actions taken repeatedly can have a profound cumulative effect. For example, if you feel drained and unmotivated, something as simple as standing up, stretching, or taking a deep breath can shift your state of mind. These micro actions might seem insignificant, but they create a ripple effect that can lead to greater accomplishments. Each step you take reinforces the neural pathways associated with effort and achievement, gradually transforming effort into a natural and rewarding habit. Your environment plays a significant role in either draining or replenishing your energy. Surroundings that are cluttered, chaotic, or filled with distractions sap your focus and make it harder to engage with the tasks at hand. On the other hand, an organized and intentional environment fosters clarity and encourages action. By creating spaces that align with your goals, whether it's a tidy workspace, a calm corner for reflection, or a vibrant area for creative expression, you set the stage for energy generation. The energy of your surroundings influences your mindset, and by designing environments that inspire action, you give yourself a powerful tool for overcoming lethargy. Another critical factor in generating energy is the role of movement. Physical activity, no matter how minimal, is one of the most effective ways to break through mental and emotional inertia. Movement stimulates blood flow, increases oxygen levels, and activates the release of endorphins, all of which contribute to heightened energy and improved mood. This doesn't mean you need to engage in intense exercise to see results. Even light activity like walking, stretching, or changing your posture can create a noticeable shift in your energy levels and mental clarity. Movement acts as a catalyst, transforming potential energy into kinetic energy that propels you forward. Mindset is equally important in the process of generating energy. If you approach tasks with a sense of dread or obligation, you're likely to feel depleted before you even begin. However, when you shift your perspective and frame tasks as opportunities for growth, learning, or self-expression, you tap into a deeper reservoir of energy and motivation. The stories you tell yourself about your actions matter. When you view challenges as stepping stones rather than obstacles, you create a mental framework that supports effort and persistence. Focusing on your why is another powerful way to generate energy. When you connect your actions to a meaningful purpose, you tap into a source of intrinsic motivation that fuels your efforts, your why. It serves as a guiding light, reminding you of the bigger picture and the rewards that await on the other side of effort. This sense of purpose helps you push through moments of resistance and tap into reserves of energy you didn't realize you had. It aligns your actions with your values, making the process of generating energy feel purposeful and rewarding. Lastly, energy is influenced by the rhythms and patterns of your day. Aligning your actions with your natural energy peaks and valleys allows you to maximize your efforts. For instance, if you're most alert and focused in the morning, that's the ideal time to tackle challenging or creative tasks. By working with your natural rhythms instead of against them, you optimize your energy and make the process of taking action feel less forced and more intuitive. Understanding how your body and mind function at different times of the day allows you to create a schedule that supports sustained energy and consistent progress. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and their realization. It is not something you are born with, but something you cultivate over time through consistent effort and deliberate action. Discipline is often misunderstood as restriction or deprivation, but it is, in reality, the ultimate form of freedom. It allows you to make choices aligned with your long-term vision rather than succumbing to short-term impulses. Without discipline, even the most ambitious plans and dreams remain just that, dreams. When you build discipline, you create a system of behavior that prioritizes what matters most, ensuring progress even when motivation wanes. One of the critical aspects of discipline is understanding its relationship with decision-making. Every day you are faced with countless choices, and the more disciplined you are, the less energy you waste deliberating over them. Discipline simplifies your life by establishing habits and routines that reduce the need for constant decision-making. For example, if you commit to exercising every morning, you eliminate the internal debate about whether to work out. The decision has already been made, and all that's left is to follow through. This mental clarity frees up your energy to focus on other areas of growth and productivity. Discipline is a skill, and like any skill, it requires practice and repetition to strengthen. It starts with small, manageable commitments that you can consistently honor. These small wins build momentum and reinforce your belief in your ability to follow through. Over time, these minor acts of discipline compound into significant progress. For instance, if you dedicate just 10 minutes a day to learning a new skill, you may not see dramatic results initially, but over weeks and months, that consistent effort will lead to substantial improvement. And this process highlights the power of incremental progress and the role discipline plays in achieving it. Another essential element of discipline is self-awareness. To cultivate discipline, you must first understand your tendencies, triggers, and patterns of behavior. This requires honest reflection and a willingness to confront your weaknesses. What are the distractions that pull you away from your goals? What habits undermine your progress? By identifying these barriers, you can develop strategies to overcome them. And for instance, if you find yourself procrastinating because of your phone, you can set boundaries, such as designated periods of focused work without distractions. Self-awareness allows you to take proactive steps to stay aligned with your objectives. Discipline is also deeply tied to your ability to delay gratification. In a world that offers instant rewards at every turn, The capacity to prioritize long-term benefits over immediate pleasure is rare but invaluable. Discipline trains your mind to focus on the bigger picture, resisting the temptation to indulge in fleeting comforts that detract from your goals. This doesn't mean you should deny yourself joy or rest, but rather that you should make intentional choices that align with your values and aspirations. Delaying gratification is a muscle that strengthens with use. And each time you choose the long-term reward over the short-term fix, you reinforce your capacity for discipline. One of the most powerful tools for building discipline is accountability. When you hold yourself accountable for your actions and commitments, you create a system of checks and balances that keeps you on track. This accountability can come from within through self-monitoring and reflection, or from external sources, such as mentors, peers, or even written goals. Sharing your goals with someone you trust adds an extra layer of commitment, as it creates a sense of responsibility to follow through. The act of regular reviewing your progress, whether through journaling or conversations, keeps your focus sharp and reinforces your dedication to your objectives. Discipline also requires resilience. There will be moments when you falter, make mistakes, or face setbacks. These moments are not failures, but opportunities to learn and grow. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. When you stumble, the key is to get back on track as quickly as possible. Reflect on what led to the slip, adjust your approach, and recommit to your path. This resilience builds a mindset of continuous improvement, teaching you that progress is not linear but cumulative. Each step forward, no matter how small, contributes to your ultimate success. The relationship between discipline and self-respect cannot be overlooked. When you honor your commitments to yourself, you build trust and confidence in your abilities. Each act of discipline sends a message that you value your time, goals, and potential. And this self-respect fuels further action, creating a positive feedback loop that strengthens your discipline over time. Conversely, when you break promises to yourself, it can erode your confidence and make it harder to stay consistent. This is why it's crucial to set realistic expectations and focus on gradual, sustainable progress rather than overambitious goals that may lead to burnout. Finally, discipline thrives on purpose. When your actions are rooted in a clear and compelling why, it becomes easier to stay committed, even in the face of challenges. Purpose gives your discipline meaning, transforming it from a chore into a path toward fulfillment. When you connect your daily habits to your overarching vision, every act of discipline becomes a step closer to the life you want to create. This alignment between purpose and action is the driving force behind sustained effort and the key to turning discipline into a lifelong ally. Excuses are the chains that bind us to a life of mediocrity. They are the stories we tell ourselves to justify inaction, to avoid discomfort, and to shield ourselves from the fear of failure. Excuses often feel valid in the moment because they protect us from facing the truth about our choices and their consequences. But every time we give in to an excuse, we chip away at our potential and build walls between where we are and where we want to be. Breaking free from the habit of making excuses is not just a matter of motivation, it is a decision to take full ownership of your life and embrace the discomfort that growth demands. The most dangerous thing about excuses is their subtlety. They often masquerade as legitimate reasons or obstacles beyond our control. I don't have the time, I'm not ready, or it's just not the right moment, are all examples of excuses dressed up as rationalizations. So they allow us to feel justified in staying in our comfort zones, but the reality is that these barriers are often self-imposed. Time, readiness, and opportunity are not fixed resources. They are created through intention and effort. By recognizing excuses for what they are, you reclaim your power to act despite them. To eliminate excuses, you must first confront the fear that lies beneath them. Excuses are often rooted in a fear of failure, rejection, or even success. The prospect of stepping into the unknown can be intimidating, but it is precisely this discomfort that signals you are on the brink of growth. Rather than avoiding fear, use it as a compass. When an excuse arises, ask yourself what you are truly afraid of. Is it the fear of being judged, the fear of making a mistake? By identifying the underlying fear, you can begin to address it directly instead of letting it control your actions. Accountability is one of the most powerful antidotes to excuses. When you make a commitment to someone else or openly declare your goals, You create a sense of responsibility that transcends your internal doubts. Sharing your intentions with a mentor, friend, or group provides an external layer of motivation and support. It's much harder to justify an excuse when others are invested in your success and rooting for you. This external accountability acts as a counterweight to the internal pull of excuses, keeping you focused and committed, even when challenges arise. Excuses often thrive in ambiguity. When your goals are vague or poorly defined, it becomes easy to find reasons not to pursue them. To overcome this, you need to bring clarity to your vision. What exactly do you want to achieve? Why does it matter to you? And what steps are necessary to get there? The more specific you are, the harder it becomes for excuses to take root. A clear plan transforms abstract dreams into actionable objectives, leaving little room for doubt or hesitation. It shifts your focus from what's holding you back to what you need to do next. Another critical step in breaking free from excuses is reframing your mindset around failure. Many excuses are rooted in a desire to avoid failure at all costs. But failure is not the opposite of success, it is an integral part of the journey. Every setback, mistake, and misstep carries valuable lessons that bring you closer to your goals. When you embrace failure as an opportunity for growth, excuses lose their power. Instead of fearing what could go wrong, you begin to see challenges as stepping stones. This shift in perspective allows you to act with courage and resilience, even in the face of uncertainty. Your environment also plays a significant role in enabling or dismantling excuses. Surrounding yourself with like-minded, driven individuals who challenge and inspire you creates a culture of accountability and action. These relationships act as a mirror, reflecting your potential and encouraging you to push beyond your self-imposed limits. Conversely, environments filled with negativity or complacency can reinforce excuses and hinder your progress. By intentionally curating your surroundings, you create a space that supports your growth and minimizes the temptation to settle for less than you're capable of. Excuses often stem from perfectionism, the belief that you must have everything figured out or be completely prepared before you take action. This mindset is a trap, as it sets an unattainable standard that paralyzes progress. Perfection is an illusion, and waiting for it only delays the momentum you could build through action. The truth is that progress is messy and imperfect by nature. Taking imperfect action is far more valuable than remaining stagnant in the pursuit of an impossible ideal. Each small step, no matter how flawed, moves you closer to your goals and builds confidence in your ability to overcome challenges. Ultimately, excuses are a choice. They are not imposed upon you, but created by you. This realization is both sobering and empowering. It means that you have the ability to dismantle excuses and choose action instead. This choice begins with a commitment to self-honesty. You must be willing to examine your habits, question your justifications, and confront the uncomfortable truths about where you are falling short. This process is not easy, but it is necessary for growth. By taking responsibility for your choices and their outcomes, you reclaim control over your life and unlock the freedom to pursue your full potential. Consistency is the cornerstone of meaningful progress and lasting success. It is not the grand gestures or occasional bursts of effort that define the trajectory of your life, but the small, repeated actions you take every day. Consistency is about showing up regardless of how you feel, the circumstances around you, or the obstacles in your way. It is about committing to the process and trusting that each step, no matter how small, is moving you closer to your goals. The power of consistency lies in its ability to compound over time, transforming what initially seems insignificant into something extraordinary. One of the most critical aspects of consistency is understanding that it requires patience. In a world that glorifies instant gratification, the idea of steady, incremental progress can feel counterintuitive. However, meaningful change is rarely immediate. It takes time for your efforts to bear fruit, and the results often come long after the initial work has been done. This delay between action and outcome is where many people falter, losing motivation when they don't see immediate results. Good consistency, however, teaches you to focus on the process rather than the outcome. It shifts your mindset from "I want results" now to "I am building something worthwhile." Consistency is also closely tied to discipline. While motivation can be fleeting, discipline ensures that you stay committed to your goals, even when motivation fades. It's easy to show up when you're inspired and energized, but true consistency is built on the days when you feel tired, unmotivated, or uncertain. These are the moments that test your resolve and determine whether you will move forward or fall back. By cultivating discipline, you create a foundation for consistency that does not rely on fleeting emotions but on a deep commitment to your vision. Habits play a central role in maintaining consistency. When you develop habits aligned with your goals, you reduce the mental energy required to take action. Habits automate your behavior, making consistency a natural part of your routine rather than a daily struggle. The key to building effective habits is starting small. Instead of trying to overhaul your entire life overnight, focus on 1 or 2 actions you can consistently implement. For example, if you want to improve your physical health, start with a 10-minute walk each day, rather than committing to an hour-long workout. Over time, these small habits build momentum and create a ripple effect that influences other areas of your life. Consistency also requires resilience. Life is unpredictable, and there will inevitably be setbacks, challenges, and moments of doubt. The key is not to let these obstacles derail your progress. When you encounter difficulties, view them as temporary disruptions rather than permanent barriers. Consistency does not mean perfection, it means persistence, even if you stumble or fall off track. What matters is your ability to pick yourself up and keep moving forward. This resilience strengthens your commitment and reinforces the belief that you are capable of overcoming any challenge. A clear sense of purpose is essential for maintaining consistency. When you have a compelling why behind your actions, it becomes easier to stay the course, even when the journey feels long or difficult. Purpose gives your efforts meaning, transforming consistency from a chore into a deeply fulfilling practice. To connect with your purpose, ask yourself what truly matters to you and why you are pursuing your goals. This clarity serves as a constant reminder of what you are working toward, keeping you grounded and motivated when distractions or doubts arise. Consistency is also about managing expectations. Progress is not linear, and there will be times when it feels like you are not moving forward at all. These plateaus are a natural part of the process and should not be mistaken for failure. During these periods, consistency becomes even more critical. By continuing to show up and put in the work, you build the momentum needed to break through and reach the next level. And trusting the process and recognizing that growth often happens beneath the surface allows you to stay committed, even when visible results are not immediate. So your environment plays a significant role in supporting or hindering consistency. Surrounding yourself with people, tools, and systems that reinforce your goals can make it easier to stay on track. For example, if you want to develop a writing habit, create a dedicated space free from distractions and set a specific time each day to write. Similarly, surrounding yourself with individuals who share your values and ambitions provides a source of encouragement and accountability. So when your environment is aligned with your goals, consistency becomes more natural and less of a struggle. Tracking your progress is another effective way to maintain consistency. When you document your efforts, you create a tangible record of your commitment and growth. This tracking serves as a source of motivation, reminding you of how far you've come and reinforcing the value of your actions. Whether it's through journaling, checklists, or digital tools, finding a method that works for you can help you stay focused and consistent over time. This practice also allows you to identify patterns and adjust your approach as needed, ensuring that you continue to move forward. Finally, consistency is about building trust with yourself. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you reinforce the belief that you are reliable and capable of achieving what you set out to do. This self-trust is the foundation of confidence and resilience, enabling you to tackle larger challenges and pursue bigger dreams. Conversely, when you fail to honor your commitments, it erodes your confidence and makes it harder to stay consistent. By prioritizing small, achievable actions and following through on them, you build a strong sense of trust that fuels your consistency and drives your success.